All right. So if you remember, in the last class we have discussed about Christopher Isherwood, Bertrand Russell,
Mm,
J.B. Priestley. Okay, so we will be beginning with Somerset Maugham. He was born in 1874, died in 1965. He is an English playwright, novelist, and short story writer. Maugham was born in the British Embassy in Paris in 1874. He was a doctor by profession. Now, as I have told you, that the first novel is always important, whether it is Somerset Maugham
um,
or it is Agatha Christie or it is Janet Winterson. So you have to remember, even if that work is a minor work, still you have to remember it, okay, because it is the first one, just the title at least. Okay, so his first novel, Lisa of Lambeth, became so successful that he gave up medicine and devoted himself entirely to writing. So the question is, who other, he was a playwright from world literature, not from British literature. He also, he was also a doctor, physician. Simultaneously, he was an author. So he said that medicine is my lawful wife and literature is my mistress. Can you tell me the name of that particular um, author? I have told this to Lavanya because I have taught him a play recently.
which play?
If I will tell you the name of the play, then you will be able to. Cherry Orchard. Okay, who has written Cherry Orchard?
Literature.
Anton Chekhov. Anton Chekhov. Okay,
Okay.
so this is how I make connection. That's why I mean whenever I read such kind of incident, because that's why history and making connection is very important. See, it's not that it is written somewhere. I have seen it. No, I haven't seen it. But the moment I saw that he was also, physician, he gave up medicine and devoted himself entirely to writing, it clicked into my mind that I have read about an author who is, kind of in the same scenario. Okay. And then I remember that, okay, it was Anton Chekhov who said that medicine is my lawful wife and literature is my mistress. Okay. So his first novel, Lisa of Lambeth, you can write it down, okay, to make connections. Lisa of Lambeth became so successful that he gave up medicine and devoted himself entirely to writing. Maugham is known for his four major novels. What are the four major novels? Of Human Bondage, of Human Bondage, The Moon and Sixpence, Kicks and Ale, Kicks and Ale, The Razor's Age, The Razor's Age. Now, of Human Bondage, you have to read the plot and the characters from Human Bondage. Okay, fine. Read
Okay.
this in detail. Moon and Sixpence, remember the name, the title. Cake and Ale, again, you have to read the plot. Cake and Ale. Read the plot. Then we have Razor Age. You can read the plot for your convenience or remember the name of the characters. All right? That's it. We will
Okay.
discuss it. So, Mom was also an influential writer with books such as On a Chinese Screen, The Gentleman in the Parlor. He died in France on 16th of December 1965. So, see, he was born in British Embassy in Paris and he died in France. So, see, he was a British author, but then he was born and died in European country other than Britain. This is another thing from which you can remember Somerset Maugham. Okay. In 1916, he was
Okay.
recruited into the British Intelligence Service, for which he worked in Switzerland and Russia till 1970. 1970. What is the important event that took place in 1970? I told it in my last classes about the
World War Second. World War
World
World
War
War
First
First
was
was good.
between 1914 to 18. How it will be in 1970?
War six.
Yes, in 1917, World War was going on, but 1917 was the year when Russian Revolution started. Russian Revolution, I told
Okay.
you.
Cold War and yeah. Yeah.
Yes, Russian Revolution, Bolshevik Revolution, 1917. He is regarded as the grand old man of English literature. Somerset Maugham, Ernest Hemingway, and E. E. Cummings are also from ambulance driver group. Okay, why do we call them ambulance driver group? Because see, Ernest Hemingway was working as an ambulance driver during the Spanish Civil War. Okay, Spanish Civil War. Somerset mom did the same, and E. Cunning did the same. That's why we call them ambulance driver group. Okay,
Right.
ठीक है, एम्बुलेंस का ड्राइवर बनाते हैं, इसलिए एम्बुलेंस ड्राइवर ग्रुप. देखो कैसा नाम दे दिया उन लोगों को. So it is humiliating. Epigraph of Razor Age. Okay, Razor's Age. What is the epigraph? Rise, wake, yo, seek the wise and realize. The path is difficult to cross like the sharpened edge of a razor. So say the wise. Okay, this is the epigraph. You do not need to remember it in very much of detail. When if you will see the razor, you will automatically understand that this is from Razor's Age. So they will not ask you this epigraph. V.S. Naipaul's novel Half Alive, protagonist is William Somerset Chandran. This protagonist, William Somerset Chandran, is actually based on William Somerset Maugham. ठीक है, V.S. Naipaul का जो novel है Half Alive, okay, it is based on William Somerset Maugham's life. Okay, and the protagonist William Somerset Chandran is actually based on William Somerset Maugham. ठीक है, इसलिए title में भी similarity है. His middle name Somerset is taken from Somerset Maugham as a homage to him. Its sequel, The Magic Seeds, also has the same protagonist. Do remember this. This is important information. Charles Strickland is the protagonist of The Moon and Sixpence. Now let us come to the important major works written by Somerset Maugham. Lisa Fleming, the first novel. Mrs. Craddock. Mrs. Craddock. Then we have The Magician of Human Bondage. This is important. Of Human Bondage is important. Remember the title, The Moon and Sixpence. Okay. The Moon and Sixpence. The Painted Veil. Then we have Kicks and Ale, or The Skeleton in the Cupboard. Okay. The Skeleton in the Cupboard. The Razor's Age. And then this Sazeraina Tree. Our Sazeraina Tree is written by by Indian author Toru Dutt. If I'm not, is it
Yeah.
our
Yeah.
Sazeraina? So see, I was not remembering, but the time I saw Sazeraina Tree, it clicked into my mind. Okay, so our Sazeraina Tree written by Toru Dutt. The Sazeraina Tree is written by Somerset Maugham. So to make you confused, they will give you two options. Okay, Somerset Maugham as well as Toru Dutt. But you have to be very careful while you are reading the title. Our Sazeraina Tree, The Sazeraina Tree. And The Sazeraina Tree is actually a collection of short stories, and that was a poem written by Toru Dutt. Okay, that's the difference. Now, cake and ale. Why it is important? A question has been asked from cake and ale because the title is taken from the remark of Sir Toby Belch to Malvolio in Shakespeare's Twelfth Night. Okay, this question has been asked from where this title has been taken. So Shakespeare's Twelfth Night. Understood? Remember this. This question has been asked in previous question. Then Razor's Age. Larry Darrell is the protagonist in Razor's Age. Now, the title of Razor's Age came from Katha Upanishad. Okay, Katha Upanishad. Okay, Katha Upanishad. Write it down. This title, Razor's Age, came from Katha Upanishad. Okay, but the story is about World War First. Okay, story is about World War First. Only the title has been taken from Katha Upanishad. ठीक है, केक एंड एल का टाइटल है ट्वेल्थ नाइट से. रेजर्स एज का टाइटल कहाँ से आता है? कथा उपनिषद. Fine. These works are not so important. Travel books of human bondage. This is the most important novel written by Somerset Maugham. Do read the summary plot from Lit Chat or Coursera. Okay. It is a masterpiece and autobiographical in nature. Though Maugham stated that this is a novel, not an autobiography. Okay, he said that this is a novel, not an autobiography, but there are many autobiographical elements which is clearly seen in this novel. Maugham has planned to call this novel Beauty from Ashes, but finally settled on this title taken from a section of Spinoza's Ethics. तो टाइटल कहाँ से इसका लिया गया है? स्पिनोजा के एथिक्स से. Who was this Spinoza? Spinoza was a philosopher. Okay, a philosopher.
Mm.
Baruch Spinoza. Okay, Baruch Spinoza. So he was a philosopher, early philosopher when Descartes was writing. Descartes, Kant, Spinoza, Rousseau. These are all the philosophers. Okay. So this has been taken
Okay.
from Spinoza's Ethics. The book begins with the death of Helen Carey, the mother of 9-year-old Philip Carey. Okay, two characters, Helen Carey. Okay, and Helen Carey is the mother of 9-year-old Philip Carey. Fine. Now Helen
Mm.
Carey is dead. She is the mother. She is dead. Philip's father died before his birth. So Philip became an orphan. Mother is already dead. Father already died before his birth. So Philip is actually orphan and thus sent to live with his uncle and aunt William and Louisa Carey. At the end of the novel, Philip falls in love with Sally, and when he came to know about her pregnancy, he decides to marry her. He is engaged to Sally, concluding that the simplest pattern that in which a man was born, worked, married, had children and died was likewise the most perfect. ठीक है, जो नॉर्मल एक सिद्धांत है, फिलोसफी है हमारे लाइफ का, that we are born, we will work, we will marry, we will have children, and then we will die. This is the most simple way to define the lifespan of a human being, isn't it? So this is actually the concluding line. Okay, so we are somehow bounded by this is a kind of human bondage that you if you have taken birth, you have to work, you have to marry, you have to look after your children, then you will die. You will become old and die. This is the, I mean, you cannot escape this situation. Think carefully. Can we escape this? बच्चे से
हाँ.
हम बूढ़े थोड़ी पैदा होते हैं. वो आपने वो देखा होगा, The Strange Case of Benjamin Button. If you have watched that movie, in that movie, the protagonist, I mean, he took birth as an old person. Okay, he took birth as an old person, and he died by becoming a small child at the end of the movie. Okay, that is also an adaptation from a novel. Okay, The Strange Case of Benjamin Button. Watch this movie, very beautiful movie. Okay, so
Is the
the
case
child,
of
The Strange Case of Benjamin Button. Benjamin Button.
um,
The child actually, I mean, when he come to this world during his birth, he was old, and with the passage of time, he started to grow younger, and by the end of the movie, he died by becoming a small child. ठीक है, जैसे हम बच्चा पैदा होते हैं, बूढ़े होके मरते हैं ना, उसमें वो बूढ़ा पैदा हुआ और बच्चा होके मर गया. Okay, upside down kind of story. Okay, so that is of human vitality. I have already told you the plot and character. Then Cake and Ale, or The Skeleton in the Cupboard. It is a novel by Maugham. Maugham drew his title. Again, the title is important, like I have said to you. This question has been asked in UGC-NET. The sentence in the 12th night appears as, Dost thou think, because thou art virtuous, there shall be no more cakes and ale. Okay? The story is told by a first-person narrator and a well-to-do author, William Ashneton. Who is the character in this novel? William Ashneton. Remember this narrator, William Ashneton. The chief characters are Elroy Keir, Mrs. Driffield, and Edward Driffield. Fine. With this, we are done with Somerset.
Somerset.
Now let us come to Doris Lacey. All right. So Doris Lessing is she's a major author. You have to read almost all of her work in detail. Okay, you need to give her time. Okay. You have to see some of the canonical authors are so good, and if you are really a student of humanity, you have to pay them respect. Okay, by reading them deeply. Okay, so in such authors you can include Doris Lacey. So her pen name is Jane Somers. Jane Somers. Her pen name is Jane Somers. Doris May Lessing was a British poet, novelist, playwright, liberationist, biographer, and short story writer. Her pen name is Jane Somers. Under this pseudonym, she wrote the diaries of Jane Somers, uh, the, di- uh, the diary of a good neighbor, and if the old cloud. Okay, yes, short story. मतलब इस pseudonym के साथ उसने इस collection को लिखा. Her sequence of 5 novels were called Children of Violence. ठीक है, इसका वो पेंटालॉजी टेट्रालॉजी ऐसे है और ऐसे ही याद करना पड़ेगा. They can ask you because they have asked from this pentalogy and tetralogy question. Okay, so you have to write, you have to read the chronology. They can ask you to arrange them chronologically. Understood? So whether it is her tetralogy or
Okay.
pentalogy, you have to remember according to the ages. Her other important novels are, we will read about Children of Violence. Okay, all the novels under this collection. The Grass is Singing, very important novel, published in 1950. Many a times question has been asked. Golden Notebook, again, VVI, very, very important. The Good Terrorist is little bit important, but Grass is Singing, Golden Notebook is very important. Her 5 novels collectively called Canopus in Aragos. Like I've said, that 5 novel collection, Children of Violence. Again, we have Canopus in Aragos archives. This is again 5 novel collection. It is the sequence of science fiction or space fiction. She was awarded Nobel Prize in Literature in 2007. This is important information. She was the 11th woman and the oldest person ever to receive this award. She was awarded the David Cohen Prize in 2001. Okay, she was born as Doris May Taylor in Iran, 22nd of October 1919 to a British parent. So remember these incidents. Then, yeah, this one. In 1925, the family moved to British colony of Southern Rhodesia. Okay, this will play a major role in her writing. Okay, British colony of Southern Rhodesia. They moved to a British colony named Southern Rhodesia in 1925. She got education in Dominican Convent High School, but she left the school at the age of 14 and left home at 15 and worked as a nursemaid. In 1937, she moves to Salisbury to work as a telephone operator, and there she married her first husband, Frank Wisdom, but this marriage was ended in 1943. Her second husband was Gottfried Lacey, but they divorced in 1949. She also had a love affair with RAF serviceman John Whitehorn, to whom she wrote 90 letters and from 1943 to 1949. The first novel of Lessing was Grass is Singing, and a breakthrough work, The Golden Notebook. By the time of her death, more than 50 of her novels were published. So you are fortunate enough that you do not need to read all the 15 novels. Then she published her 2 novels under the pseudonym Jane Somers, The Diary of a Good Neighbor and If the Old Could in both countries. Her final book, Alfred and Emily, appeared in 2008. Okay, just remember this. This is the final book. That's why remember this, Alfred and Emily. She died in London in 2013. So she was born in 1919. She saw the Second World War, the Cold War, the Spanish Civil War, the Vietnam War. Okay, the fall of Berlin. So many incidents she has seen in her lifetime. Now let us come. Yes, her fictions are commonly divided into 3 phases. This is important information. Okay, the first phase is the communist theme. She is criticizing the communist. Okay, the communist theme you will see. I mean, she was supportive of communist in the first phase from 1944 to 56. The communist theme, then psychological theme from 1956 to 69. psychological theme. Then Sufi theme. Sufi theme is very much associated with Eastern philosophy from Islam. Okay, it is influenced by Islam. So the communist theme, the psychological theme, the Sufi. Okay, this question has been asked कि सूफी थीम किसके राइटिंग में होता है, ठीक है? तो वहां पे ऑप्शन था, तो उसमें राइट आंसर क्या होता है? डोरिस लेसिंग. ओके, so do remember communist and psychological also, because they have asked the Sufi theme. They can ask you that I mean, among these four authors who is one who writes about communist theme. Okay, communist ideas. So you have to remember communist theme, psychological theme, Sufi theme. Sufi theme has been already asked in UGC. Now, major works of Doris Lessing. The Grass is Singing, as I have told you, this is very important. You have to read it in detail. The Golden Notebook, you have to read it in detail. The Summer Before the Dark, remember the title. The Diary of Good Neighbor, remember just the title. The Good Terrorist, read this. Okay, read the plot, at least. The plot. Yes. The Children of Violence, the pentalogy, where you will find this character, Martha. Okay, Martha Quest is a character in all 5 novels. Martha Quest is a character in all 5 novels. The name of the collection is Children of Violence. These are the novels under this collection, and Martha Quest is a character in all the 5 novels. This question has been asked in UGC NET. ठीक है, कि मार्था क्वेस्ट किसने लिखा था? दिस क्वेश्चन हैज बीन आस्क्ड. जो पहला नोवेल है इस कलेक्शन का, मार्था क्वेस्ट, इससे क्वेश्चन आया था कि हु हैज रिटन और हु हैज मेड दिस. आई एम नॉट रिमेम्बरिंग इट प्रॉपर्ली, बट देन either they have asked about the character Martha Quest or the first novel in the collection, The Children of Violence. So it will be Martha Quest anyhow. Okay, this question has been asked in UGC NET. Mark it down. That's why I'm telling you to remember all the 5 names, because they have asked Martha Quest. They can ask the Four Gated City. Okay, sorry, the Four Gated City has been also asked. Okay, 2 question has been asked from the same from the same collection. They have asked about Martha Quest. They have also asked this Four Gated City. So remains, we have 3 more left. 3 more novels which are there in the entire collection. So remember these 3 names, because they have already asked Martha Quest and the Four Gated City. They can ask you A Proper Marriage, A Ripple from the Storm, Landlord. ठीक है? So see, 2 question has been already asked from this collection. The Four Gated City is set in London. Write it down. It is set in London, a dystopian fiction about atomic war. Okay? Four Gated City is a novel set in London, a dystopian fiction which describes atomic war. So these are the questions that has been asked. Now let us come to the second collection, the Canopus in Argus Archives series. Again, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 novels. Shikasta, The Marriage Between Zones 3, 4, and 5, The Syrian Experiments, The Making of Representation of Planet 8, The Sentimental Agents in the Volian Empire. So until now, no question has been asked, but then if a question can come from the Children of Violence, they can also ask from the Canopus in Argos. Okay, that's the reason you have to read both these pentalogy. Okay, I'm not asking you to read all the novels in detail. I'm just asking you to remember the title, the main title, the name of the collection, and as well as the novels under that collection. ठीक है, बस इतना ही याद है. फिर लास्ट में है गुड टेररिस्ट, जिसमें प्रोटागोनिस्ट है एलिस. ओके, गुड टेररिस्ट जिसमें प्रोटागोनिस्ट है एलिस. देन ड्रामा वी हैव. ड्रामा इज नॉट सो इम्पोर्टेंट. Autobiographies you can remember, because in autobiographical, I mean, this is a kind of genre in itself. So you can see they are asking about the autobiographies every now and then. So Going Home is a memoir. African Laughter, Under My Skin. Under My Skin, this is important. Remember this title. Under My Skin, Walking in the Shade. Going home under my skin, walking in the shade. Remember this. Non-fiction, see, on not winning the Nobel Prize. She has written on not winning the Nobel Prize. This was a Nobel lecture of 2007 when she already won Nobel Prize. Now let us come to the very important fiction written by uh, Doris Lessing. The Grass is Singing, published in 1950. Previous year a question has been asked about the title. Okay. It is the first novel of Doris Lessing published in 1950. The novel takes place in southern Rhodesia. I told you that this is the British colony which play a very major role in his novels. So it is set in southern Rhodesia. They can ask you about the setting. So whenever you heard of this Rhodesia, do remember Doris Lessing, which is currently in Zimbabwe, in South Africa during 1940. Okay, it was set in southern Rhodesia in South Africa during 1940. Now it is known as Zimbabwe. It is adapted into film The Killing Eve. It deals with racial politics between whites and blacks in that country. The title of the novel is taken from the 15th line of T.S. Eliot's The Wasteland. Again, very important information. Grass is Sinking has been taken, this title has been taken from Eliot's Wasteland. What is the plot? The novel starts with a cutting of a newspaper article that says Mary Turner, a white woman, is killed by her black servant Moses for money. This is one of the hints. Then we have Golden Globe.
মানে এটা বলছে একটা কথা শুনবো
What happened?
মানে মানে এই লাস্টের যে এন্ডিং এর কথাটা তুমি বলছো, হ্যাঁ, কিন্তু মানে ওখানে তো এরকম মানে অনেকটাই এরকমও ছিল না যে লাইক মানে ম্যারি জানে যে মানে ম্যারির তো একটা ভয় কাজ করতো মানে যে মানে she was also afraid like uh, um, Moses as well cause she thought that Moses মানে she knows it very well like if she do any kind of
You have
মানে
watched the
রাফ
movie?
বিহেভ যদি করে না, কিন্তু আমার তো ছিল এটা মানে সাইকোলজিক্যাল এক্সপেকটেশন তো মানে এটাই ছিল মানে লাইক that she was very afraid and she knows মানে মোজেসকে ব্যাক করে দিলেই she will মানে মোজেস will kill her.
হ্যাঁ, ওটাই তো মানে যে সিনারিওটা চেঞ্জ হয়েছে। আগে ও রেসিস্ট ছিল, তারপরে ওর কন্ডিশন ডিটোরিয়েট হয়ে গেল। তারপরে হতে পারে যে মোজেস
হুম।
ওকে ওভার কন্ট্রোল করছে। ঠিক আছে, এটাও হতে পারে। There are possibilities.
হ্যাঁ, মানে ওই যে একটা মানে সিন ছিল না মানে একটা ইসে যে যখন
হ্যাঁ, আমি
মানে ওর
তোমাকে ওটা
হাজবেন্ড
তো টিচ করেছি।
হ্যাঁ, হ্যাঁ। মানে ওই সিনটাতে যে মানে ওর মানে ও একটা স্বপ্ন দেখলো না যে লাইক ওর হাসব্যান্ড এর সাথে মানে ওর হাসব্যান্ড যখন অসুস্থ ছিল তো তো ও দেখলো যে মোজেস ওকে হেল্প করছিল। তো মোজেসের সাথে ওর বাবার একটা মানে পেতো মানে কি বলবো যে
হুম, হুম, হুম।
সেক্সুয়াল হ্যারাসমেন্ট এর যে ব্যাপার, তোর
হুম,
বাবাকে
হুম,
রিলেট
হুম।
করতো। শি ওয়াজ অলরেডি অ্যাফ্রেড অফ মোজেস বাট ওই ডমিনেশন এর জায়গা থেকে মোজেসকে ডমিনেশনও করতে হবে অ্যান্ড রিমেম্বার যে লাইক ও বলতো না যে লাইক মানে she gets kind of feminine type of thing in his husband as well মানে ও সবসময় প্রেফার করতো যে মানে ইয়ে লাইক দিক should be like more masculine মানে যেহেতু দিক সবসময় depend করে
হুম,
তো
হুম, হুম।
ওই মানে masculine ব্যাপারটার দিক থেকে হয়তো মোজেসের উপর অনেক বেশি ছিল মানে attracted ছিল but she also wants to dominate her তো all of these things create a very toxic situation and ওই
হ্যাঁ,
জায়গা থেকে আমি একটু মানে মানে এই টনির ব্যাপারটা আমি অ্যাকচুয়ালি কখনো মানে মাথায় আমার আসেনি তো এই কারণে আমি
সেই
তোমাকে একটু
নিয়ে
মানে
আমি মানে
জিজ্ঞাসা করলাম।
বললাম যে প্লটটা ভালো করে ওখান
হুম,
থেকে পড়বে। গ্রাস ইজ সিঙ্গিং আর গোল্ডেন নোট। ওকে? Read the plot
হুম,
from
হুম,
course hero
হুম।
or literature to have a clear idea. I am just reading what is written in world literature in your face, and there are mistakes in world literature in your face. I have
আচ্ছা
pointed
আচ্ছা
in
আচ্ছা।
front of you many of
হুম।
the mistakes in years, dates, and everything,
হ্যাঁ
characters
হ্যাঁ
also. So you can. That's why I'm
হ্যাঁ
saying these two are very
হ্যাঁ
major work. The Grass is Singing as well as Golden Notebook. Read this plot from course hero. Know, try to know about all the characters. Okay, Doris Lessing is
হুম
very
হুম হুম
important,
হুম।
and these two novels are very important. Grass is Singing और Golden Notebook का अभी तक मतलब Grass is Singing का तो बस PYQ ऐसे पूछा है टाइटल, ठीक है, अभी तक टाइटल पूछा है,
হুম।
बट यू नेवर नो कि नेक्स्ट टाइम सेटिंग पूछ दे साउदर्न रोड एशिया। They can also ask you
Mm-hmm.
about the characters, Mary Turner, Dick Turner, Moses. Okay, so do remember this.
Mm-hmm.
From NET point of view, this much information is fine. Okay, now if the plot is
Okay.
wrong, it is wrong written here in world literature in your face, then that's another concern. I mean, that is something to discuss in detail. But from NET point of view, the information that is here, that is enough. Fine. इतना ही इंफॉर्मेशन आपको,
Okay.
मतलब जब प्लॉट पढ़ना है तो इतना ही इंफॉर्मेशन गेन करना है, ज्यादा डिटेल में नहीं, मतलब स्टोरी पता चल जाए और द कैरेक्टर्स. Now let
Okay.
us move on to the golden notebook. So this novel is written in 1962. It is again diary entry, epistolary. We have read a novelist yesterday who was whose work is also epistolary novel. Do you remember? कल ही हमने पढ़ा है उसका, जो नोवेल लिख रहा था वो
Absolutely.
स्टार्टिंग होता है, वेरी फेमस नोवेल, ही इज राइटिंग इन हिज डायरीज.
Dracula's book.
Dracula, exactly. Very good. Dracula. So this novel is written in 1962. It is an epistolary novel written in diary form. This novel is called Lessings Inner Space Fiction by Margaret Drabble. Margaret Drabble called this inner space fiction. The book also contained a powerful anti-war and anti-Stalinist message. Anti-war and anti-Stalinist message. But these things has not been asked in UGC-NET. What is asked is the character. Okay, it is a story of writer Anna Wolf. This question has been asked in UGC-NET. Okay, Anna Wolf. It is the story of a writer, Anna Wolf. The four notebooks in which she records her life and her attempt to tie them together in a fifth gold colored notebook. वही जो gold color का जो notebook था, that is golden book. Okay, so it is the story of Anna Wolf. Remember this name, the title, read the plot from course hero or lit chart, whatever possible way you have. So read it. Anna Wolf is the writer of the four notebooks in which she records her life and her attempt to tie them together in a fifth gold colored notebook. The book intersperses segments of an ostensibly realistic narrative of the life of Molly and Anna, their children, ex-husbands, and lovers, entitled Free Women, with excerpts from Anna's four notebooks colored. Okay. Now, what are the four notebooks? First one is Black. Black, about Anna's experience in Southern Rhodesia. Red, her experience, see again, Southern Rhodesia. Again, it is coming. Red, her experience as a member of Communist Party. Yellow, an ongoing novel that has been written based on painful ending of Anna's love affair. Blue, Anna's personal journal where she records her memoirs, dreams and emotional life. तो ये जो चारों का कलेक्शन अब वो गोल्ड कलर के नोटबुक में डालना चाह रही है, चारों को एक साथ. दैट इज गोल्डन नोट. ठीक है, समझ में आया?
Yes.
Read the plot and you will get the clear idea. But from NET point of view, this much information is enough. Just remember all the colors and what it stands for, the name of the characters. Okay, the setting. Now setting, you can see that it tends to change, but Southern Rhodesia is something that you need to remember. When the story begins, Anna Wolf has already published a single successful book, Frontiers of War, set in Central Africa in 1951. ठीक है तो? Then we have Martha Quest. मार्था क्वेस्ट से मैंने बोल दिया, इससे PYQ आया है, बस टाइटल ही आया है, मतलब इट इज द पार्ट ऑफ चिल्ड्रेन ऑफ वायलेंस, पेंटालॉजी चिल्ड्रेन ऑफ वायलेंस उसका पार्ट था ये. तो बस इससे इतना ही क्वेश्चन है. मार्था क्वेस्ट बस टाइटल आया. फोर गेटेड सिटी, अगेन इट इज अ पार्ट ऑफ चिल्ड्रेन ऑफ वायलेंस कलेक्शन. ओके, it is the fifth novel in that collection, The Four-Gated City. It is about post World War II in Great Britain. Martha is in London in 1950, as 1950s begin. She is an integral part of social history of the time. The Cold War, the Aldermaston marches, swinging London, the deepening deepening of poverty and social anarchy. See, that's the reason why I started my lecture on postmodern with this Cold War and the historical events. That plays a very important role in what shapes the works of an author. Okay, so historical events or political events actually shapes the work, even if it is a science fiction. It is somehow associated with Cold War, with the Aldermaston marches swinging London, the deepening of poverty and social anarchy. The volume ends with the century in the grip of World War III. In 1997, Martha dies on a contaminated island of the northwest coast of Scotland. मतलब जब ये पांचवा वॉल्यूम खत्म होता है तो मार्था लास्ट वाले में नोवेल में मर चुकी है, ठीक है, शी डाइड. ऑलराइट, so I have targeted J.K. Rowling also, but I won't be able to finish because, as I've said, Doris Lessing is very important. So because I went too much detail in Doris Lessing, that's why I was not able to finish. I will try to finish it in the next class. I mean, J.K. Rowling. Okay, means up to Doris Lessing we are done. Somerset Maugham and Doris Lessing. So whatever I have taught you, remember it, write it down, and then we will begin with J.K. Rowling. All right. So let's meet in the next.